Hall of Famers and modern superstars get most of our baseball card attention. But there have been more than 20,000 other players in baseball history, many of whom have really cool baseball stories and interesting baseball cards. Like this guy, who isn't in the Hall of Fame, but his glove is. Octavio Victor Rojas Rivas was born in Cuba in 1939. His mother called him the sweet and fairly common nickname of Cookie, which means cute in Spanish. When he came to America to play baseball, the nickname stuck, and Cookie Rojas got to work. He came up with the Reds organization, breaking into the majors in 1962 and getting his first hit off of none other than Sandy Koufax. But the Reds had plenty of infield talent, including a plucky young nobody named Pete Rose. So the Reds traded Rojas to the Phillies for relief pitcher Jim Owens. Rojas was a defensive specialist, an excellent second baseman, his natural position. But the Phillies already had an all-star second baseman in Tony Taylor, so Rojas branched out his skills and learned to play other positions too. All of them. The 1963 Topps card, number 221, is his rookie. And since he was dealt after Topps took most of the 1963 photos, he's actually wearing a Reds uniform here. You don't really notice because red and white are the Phillies' colors too, and they had similar pinstripes. But the Reds had a sleeveless home jersey that they wore atop a red undershirt. So the keen-eyed baseball card observer can see his uniform stops at the shoulder. His hat was airbrushed red, replacing the C with a P. This was in the early days of airbrushing for Topps, and one of the first airbrushed cards. They did an okay job with the hat, but the longer you look at it, the more you can see the airbrushing. Apart from the hat, perhaps his most distinguishing feature was that he wore glasses. Very few players wore glasses in the day, even if they needed them. Unlike now, when people regularly wear fake glasses as a fashion statement, in the 50s and 60s, kids were often teased for their glasses, Four Eyes and Poindexter among the more common assaults. So to have a big league ballplayer sport a pair of spectacles was huge, and he quickly became a fan favorite and hero to bespectacled kids everywhere. But the legend of Cookie Rojas runs deeper than his trademark specs. As he played more and more at second base for the Phillies, he turned some mesmerizing double plays with shortstop Bobby Wine, dubbed by the papers as the plays of Wine and Rojas, a spin on the very popular movie and song of the era. He got his first of 5 All-Star nods in 1965, and for 3 years led the National League in fielding percentage at second base. For a time, he was the best defensive second baseman in baseball, no question. But his talents expanded beyond just second base. By the time he had switched to these clear plastic glasses in 1966...
Are you listening?
Yes, I am.
Plastics.
he had played nearly every other position. Manager Gene Mauch platooned him all over the place, including catcher and pitcher. After he walked off the mound in a game in 1967, a game where he pitched to Willie Mays, he became one of the only players in baseball history to play every position. And most astonishingly, he played all 9 positions with the same glove. A glove that's now enshrined in Cooperstown at the Hall of Fame. Yes, this 1964 card, number 448, is technically a baseball card of a Hall of Famer. That glove, right there, is in the Hall. The least expensive vintage Hall of Fame card on the market. This 1967 card, number 595, is a high number and by far his most sought-after and expensive card, hovering around the $40 range for cards in fair condition. Good condition and excellent condition cards, much, much more. All his other cards go for about 1/10 of that price, but those 67 high numbers are no joke. His 68 and 69 cards are his last with the Phillies, but not his last. His bat slumped a bit in 69, and Denny Doyle was tearing up the minors. So the Phillies included Rojas in the monster trade deal that sent Dick Allen to the Cardinals for Curt Flood, which is a whole nother episode. His bat slumped more in St. Louis, so the Cardinals turned around and almost immediately traded him again to the expansion Kansas City Royals, where he got his mojo back. He went on to 4 straight All-Star nods at second base, on the way to 8 seasons as the Royals' everyday second baseman. Cookie Rojas literally played every position. He got his first hit off of Sandy Koufax. He pitched to Willie Mays in his first appearance on the mound. He caught fastballs behind the plate with an infielder's glove that's now in the Hall of Fame. He inspired kids everywhere with his unapologetic use of corrective eyeglasses. He was one of Topps' first airbrushed cards, and he's a 67 high number to boot. Sometimes the common cards of everyday players have the most interesting stories. And with 20,000 other players in baseball history, the stories never have to end. Thanks for watching. Take those common cards out of the drawer and learn about their stories, legends, and lore.